Hello people. So this is the website we're going to be making today. It's called Code Quizly. Essentially a coding quiz website. Users can sign up here. You can see we're signing up for a test account. Once signed up, they can go to the dashboard. And then from the dashboard, they can choose which programming language they want to learn. Here we're choosing JavaScript. Let's go to the JavaScript basics. Here you can see we're answering the question correctly. Getting in the green bar saying correct. And then finally, we get the results page. And here you can see the progress and that it's marked as complete. So now let's get into coding this. So first of all, what we're going to do is we're asking ChatGPT to create us a prompt which we're going to put into Lovable. So here I'm asking it to create me a responsive website application that combines LeetCode style coding drills with DuoLingo style lessons and quizzes. So I'm telling it I want a landing page that leads visitors to a dashboard where they can view a grid of different programming languages and technologies. Giving it an example: JavaScript, Python, Java. Each will have a progress bar which represents how many lessons that they have to complete or how many lessons they have completed underneath this language. And then when they click the programming language card, it takes them to the topic page which will list an array of different lessons and such. So here I'm just giving it some examples of topics. And I'm also making sure it knows that once the quiz is completed, I want it to be disabled so that the user can't retake it. So I'm telling it I want it to be a DuoLingo style quiz, meaning multiple choice questions. Here I'm specifying 4 options. Progress indicator, so that the user knows how far into the quiz they are. Also giving it the name of the website which I've chosen, Code Quizly. And I'm also specifying that it's going to go into a AI website generator, such as Lovable AI. Here I'm specifying what languages and frameworks I want it to use. So I want React on the front end and Express.js backend. And I also want to use Firebase as my database. So here you can see it's created me the prompt, which I'm posting to Lovable. Lovable spinning up the preview. And here we go. Here's the landing page, which you've seen in the beginning of this video. At the moment it's using dummy data and such, but we're going to change that. Exactly what we wanted. It's nice clean design. Definitely looks very similar to DuoLingo. Here you can see I've noticed the bug. So clicking the correct answer still showed me the wrong answer also, and I can't continue with the quiz. So here I'm putting in the prompt. I'm telling it to fix the bugs for me. And I'm also telling it that I want there to be 10 questions, because currently there was only 2 or 3. Here you can see immediately that the number of questions have changed. Here I'm just having a look at the code. See, now it seems to be working fine. Now we can progress through the questions. can see the progress bar is actually going up as well, exactly how it should do. So it's working great. Though, if you look closely, it does say 15 out of 10 questions, so that's something that we're going to fix. I don't think I noticed it right now, but it's something that I do get fixed. So here I'm uploading or I'm pushing the project to GitHub. This allows me to download the files. Here I'm just signing in. Here I'm on the GitHub repository page. If you click the code button, you can download it as a zip. You could just clone this straight into your code at the top, but you could also download the files. So here I've opened it into Cursor and used npmi. So this is installing all the packages, all the required packages. And then using the command npm run dev to run the front end locally. Here I'm just testing it out, making sure it's working as expected. Here I'm just putting in random answers. Two out of 10. But what I've noticed here is it should have failed the user. So I put a prompt in saying if a user gets less than 8 out of 10 questions, instead of showing complete, it should say lesson failed, and they should be asked to retry. Now let's test it again. Here you can see it's working as expected. And again, you can see that we got a bug. It says we got 18 out of 10, and there's only 10 questions. So I put in another prompt, explaining the issue, and I'm telling it exactly what to do. You can see Cursor's now made the changes. So now I'm going to test it again, just to confirm that everything's working as correctly. Perfect. 10 out of 10. So now, I may have skipped a little bit ahead, but what we're trying to do now is we're installing Firebase for authentication. So essentially just told it what I wanted to do. It's creating all the necessary files. It's giving me what I need to add to the .env file. So these values you need to get from your Firebase dashboard. You go to your project settings. First you need to make the project, by the way. Then you'll be able to access these variables. To plug them in. Obviously I can't show you my API keys. Now we're going to give it a go. I'm trying to sign up. A test user. here it failed for some reason. Oh yeah, because the configuration. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go back to Firebase. And we need to allow email/password setup. Email/password sign in. You can use Google, you could use GitHub, but for this example, we're using a simple username and password. So now we're gonna try login with the user we just created. And it seems to be working fine. The only thing I noticed that it didn't take us to the dashboard page. So this is what I'm prompting Cursor to do now. So when the user signs in, it should take them to the dashboard rather than to this welcome page that we got sent to. So now we're going to try it again. So now when the user logs in, it takes them straight to the dashboard. So here what I've done is I've created a backend folder. And now I'm prompting Cursor to create the backend for me using Node.js and Express. Because at the moment we're using hard-coded data from a mock data file. But essentially what we want to do is we want to store all the data on a database. In this project I'm using MongoDB. You can see Cursor's making all the necessary files. And now we need to get into MongoDB. If you don't have an account, you need to make an account. Here I'm just signing into my account. You gotta create a project. So here I'm making code Quizly. Create a cluster, use the free plan. Choose a region, whichever one's closest to you, doesn't really matter too much. Then create a deployment and you'll get a key which you need to put into your .env file. So now I'm making that .env file. Asking Cursor what variables we need. I'm sure it's just the port and the MongoDB URI. Yep. Just pasting in the example, but I need to replace the MongoDB URI with the one that's provided to me. This will contain your password, which is sensitive information. And here you can see it's created all the collections that we need. So here I'm just running the backend. So now I'm telling Cursor about the mock data file, what data it holds, and I'm clarifying that I want all this data to be moved to the MongoDB database. So what I needed to do is I needed to migrate the data that's currently in the file to MongoDB, and to do that, we'll need to create a script. So it's created the migrate data.js. So here I run it and I initially get an error. So I did do a little bit of troubleshooting to get this to work. I just skipped over it because it was quite tedious, but we got it working in the end. Didn't take too long. And here I'm going to refresh this, and you can see all the data has been migrated to MongoDB. So now in essence we won't need the mock data file. I want this data to be retrieved. Oh, I want the front end to retrieve this data so that I can delete the mock data file. So you can see it's created the API calls which I'll need in the backend, and I'm asking it to update the front end to use these API calls. And here I noticed that it removed a lot of the UI. So sometimes these AI tools tend to do their own thing. So you just have to give it a slap and just tell it to stay on track. So here it's restored the dashboard UI whilst maintaining the API integration. So here, now I'm going to deploy the front end. To do this, I'm using GitHub. If you make a Vercel account, you can create a new project and then you'll see the same screen. Here I'm putting in the build and output information. So it needs the build command, it needs the output directory, and the install command. Yours should be the same if you've created the application using Lovable. And then here I'm pasting in the environment variables, because your .env file does not get uploaded to GitHub. And here you can see it's deployed without a problem. Deploying the front ends are always usually quite straightforward. But for the back end, now what I need Cursor to do is to convert the Express.js backend that I have to work with Vercel's serverless architecture. It won't work unless you have a serverless backend on Vercel. So here I'm just following the instructions that Cursor's given me. I'm installing in the Vercel globally. Basically just saying yes to everything to get through. So this is an alternative way to do it. If you don't want to use GitHub, you can just use the Vercel CLI. You could do it either way. I thought I'd just try both. So here, it's can see that it's created a backend project on its own. And now I'm going to test it. But one thing I noticed is I need to add the IP access list and shit. So without this, essentially MongoDB will block you from doing anything unless your IP is whitelisted. So by putting 00000 into there, it just whitelists every IP, which you don't want in the production app, but for this, it's fine. And here you can see, using the API route, API/languages, we get all the language information. And now we need to use the URL in our front end environment variables, because currently it is on localhost. So here we're editing it. Save that. And boom. This is now a full stack website hosted on Vercel. So here I'm testing it. And you can tell this isn't local, this is on CodeQuizD, front end of Vercel.app. You can see we've got 0 progress because it's a new account. I'm gonna go with a short quiz. Get everything right. Click completed. If we go back, we can see that it's been marked as completed and the progress has gone up to 50%.